We have some special products for polynomials. We have the difference of two squares. When you take x plus y times x minus y, you get x squared minus y squared, where the middle term cancels out because the inside and outside, inside is negative, or the outside is negative, inside is positive, so the middle term cancels out. The square of a binomial positive and a square of a binomial negative, x plus y squared. Now remember, when something is squared, it means multiply it by itself. So x plus y squared is just that, x plus y times x plus y. And you can see the final result is x squared plus 2xy plus y squared. So there's a pattern. Same thing with the square of a binomial negative, x minus y squared is x minus y times x minus y. This time your middle term is negative 2xy and your last term is plus y squared. Right, so we'll take a look at a few examples here. So for the first one, a difference of two squares. When you're looking at it, something like x, if I have x plus 2 times x minus 2. Again, when I'm doing this, what I'm going to get is my first term will be x squared. My outside term is going to be a minus 2x. My inside term is going to be a plus 2x. So my middle terms will cancel. And then my last term is going to be a minus 4. Right? So the technique, the x squared minus 4. Basically what you do is you square the first one. It's called the difference of two squares. You square the first one. Right? You square the second term of the binomial and make sure that's negative. That's why they call it the difference of two squares. Let's take a look at one more example. This time, if we involve numbers, let's just look at this. We'll start with like 4t minus 1 times 4t plus 1. It doesn't matter which one comes first or which one comes second. Now, to do the shortcut method, here's what I do. Look at the negative one and just square this. So it's 16t squared. All right. Difference of two squares, so it's always going to be minus. What's 1 squared? 1 squared is 1. So 16t squared minus 1. So there are shortcuts that you can take as you're doing the difference of two squares. If you don't recognize it, it's not that big a deal. You just FOIL. Alright, so now in the second one, in the second example here, the square of a binomial positive, I have x plus 3, and I'm going to square it. Again, when something is squared, it means you multiply it by itself. So I got to take x plus 3 times x plus 3. Right, it's not x squared plus 9. That's not the final answer because you're going to have a middle term here. The square of a binomial positive or negative will be a trinomial. All right, let's FOIL here. We get x squared, all right, plus 3x, plus 3x. So your inside and outside term. And then the last one is plus 9. So when I put this all together, I get x squared plus 6x plus 9. Now let's look at the shortcut. If I had something like, well, let's look at 5y right, plus 2. And again, we're going to look at that being squared. Now I'm going to do the shortcut method here to kind of show you how I can get to the final answer. Alright, so basically the first one squared, so we got 25y squared. Okay, it's the last one squared will be the last part of my trinomial. So 2 squared is 4. Alright, now to get your middle term, here's what you have to do. This is the pattern. Alright, I multiply these two together. 2 times 5y is 10y, and then I double it. So this middle term here will be plus 20y. Alright, that's the shortcut method. Again, if you don't like that, use FOIL. Okay, and then the last one, I have z minus 3, and I'm going to have that squared. So again, this means I have z minus 3 times z minus 3. Now let's FOIL this and I get z squared minus 3z minus 3z plus 9, because negative 3 times the negative 3 is 9. Now let's put this together and end up with z squared minus 6z, all right, plus 9. All right, let's do one more, and this time again we'll take the shortcut. Let's say I have something like 6x minus 4, and again that's squared. So again, the shortcut technique is this: I square the first one, 36, square the first term, 36x squared, square the last term but make it positive, because negative 4 times negative 4 is a plus 16. Now again, the middle term in this case is going to be negative, since it's a square of a binomial negative. I take 4 times 6, which is 24x. 4 times 6x, 24x. I double that, and I'll have a negative 48x for my middle term. So that is the special products of a polynomial. Like I said, if you recognize them, it'll help you while we get into factoring next week. But really, if you're not sure, FOIL it, and you still can get to the right answer.